Metallica. 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage for the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
Wednesday night is once again here, and that means it's time for Auburn Family Night. This is our weekly show here at E2C Network, where we share the Auburn experience. It's all about you, the Auburn family. You're going to dictate the topics, the questions, the comments, and the way we go throughout this whole hour show. Let's get into those calls and all of those different topics right now. War Eagle, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together. We sit down, whether it's live or on the replay, and we talk about the Auburn experience. The Auburn experience to us is all about a few different things: Auburn sports, Auburn culture, and Auburn family stuff. If it's orange and blue, it's what we do, and it's what we're going to get into here today on our live show that we do every single Wednesday night called Auburn Family Night. You take center stage here. You get to dictate the way we go and all the different topics. We've got some things prepared that we could discuss if they're interesting to you, but we're going to let you all tell us what to do. You are the puppet masters, and I am the puppet, I guess, is the way I always like to say it here on the show this evening. It is going to be a live call-in show. We'll start accepting calls in just a little bit here. So if you want to, you can take advantage of that now. Our call-in link. And this show is brought to you by our friends at Barner Supply Co. You see me wearing the hat. You see the logo down here in the corner as well. We are so appreciative in what they do, helping seize control and the pride that comes from our blue-collar, ag-based mentality, yes, but also our background of what we have become as an Auburn people. So I love the fact that they've got this logo, and I know Matt is working on some new things as well, some new designs, some new logos that we'll probably share about in the future. But definitely we want to thank barnersupplyco.com. Go check them out so you can get some cool apparel like this and many other things out there. We appreciate them being our sponsors of Auburn Family Night every Wednesday night for the last several few and then going on to the future right now. Phone lines are now open, available. It is on the top of the chat on YouTube specifically. If you would like to take part in it, you can get in line to have a phone call this evening here and share what's on your mind, your heart, your soul, and we'll be taking those calls shortly. But let me set the stage for you tonight. You will obviously we will lean heavily on what you want to discuss here. But as you saw in our title for this particular stream, the Auburn Mount Rushmore debate rages on. That is certainly something that we can get into here a little bit. We have certainly been doing a series of our own on the Auburn Experience podcast on and off as it's needed. And certainly it seems like it's needed again, given the interest from other Auburn entities out there. Spurring the conversation on this week. So a lot of that is centralized around sports. We've taken a little bit more of an, as we do with most things here for Auburn, a more broad spectrum and covered all angles of it. But certainly I know people start thinking of just what's your ultimate Auburn sports Mount Rushmore. We can certainly get into that with you all if you'd like to discuss some of that this evening. We will get to that eventually in our series, but that is there as well for you if you're interested in that. Baseball and softball still continue, though softball is wrapped up their SEC tournament play, and they will look forward to potentially being in the NCAA tournament, but have to wait till the weekend to find out anything there. Only 2 weeks left in baseball. That's out there, too, if you're interested in that. We wait decisions from NBA draft participants, such as Todd Pettiford. So there's a lot of if and will they, all this type of storylines out there. That's kind of what happens when we move into summer. It's more speculative and more that type of thing. So we can get into 1,000 different of those things tonight. I am going to address something again that I did on the Auburn Experience show this Sunday that I've done through TikTok live streams that we do almost daily. for those of you that are on that format. And in other, we've announced that what's been going on social media. For those of you that don't know and haven't know, I've been checked out for the last about week and a half and slowly getting back into the gear thing. That's why you've seen less content from us, less stuff going on. It's just been a little bit of a busy and sad week for us here at the Loomis household, aka E2C Network headquarters, as we lost our cat Lucy, who so many people who've been here for a long time know as Podcat. And she passed away pretty unexpectedly, very quickly last week, and it's kind of thrown us for a little bit of a loop here. So we did a little bit of a tribute for her on the last Auburn Experience podcast and on social media. Won't have to get into that 1,000 times, but I know that there are people that maybe just tune into the show, want to address where I've been, what's been going on. And if I seem a little down, that's probably what's going on too. But we trudge on. We wanted to at least acknowledge her and honor her one more time tonight. And this was the last show that we haven't done since the little bit of a break that I had, that we needed to get back out there and say things tonight. So that's what's been going on with us. Plenty of things in that lull that I was in to discuss that we haven't had a chance to discuss because we missed last Wednesday night. Let's get into all of those different things. We'll take our first caller this evening, ready to go as always. You know him, you love him. What's going on, Kevin?
Cowboy hat.
Cowboy hat, sir. How you doing?
Jaquez Hunter.
Jaquez Hunter. What's going on?
I will miss that dude.
Yes, we all will miss Jarquez Hunter. You going to be an LA Rams fan now that he's over there at LA?
Yeah, I'll be LA Rams fan and Dallas Cowboys fan.
You sound like you got your mouth full there. LA Rams is what it sounded like.
And that dude he played at Georgia. He got traded to the Cowboys now.
You talking about Todd Gurley, their former running back?
No, George Pickens.
Oh, well, that's not an Auburn topic, Kevin, so I have no clue that that's even, if it ain't got orange and blue on it, I am not aware of it, not interested in it. So unfortunately, that's why I was like, whoa.
How about number 4?
Which, who you wearing number 4 for tonight?
Hank.
For Hank Brown?
No, Hank.
Oh, Tank. I heard Hank. Tank Bigsby, yeah. So you got a lot of NFL teams you got to follow now for Auburn people in the NFL. You got to be a Rams fan. You got to be a Jaguars fan. It's part of the reason why I've never
Peyton Thorne
Peyton Thorne fan at Cincinnati. You can be a Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham at the Broncos. You've got Carlton Davis with the Patriots, I think.
He's still playing?
Oh, man. Yeah, he's still a pretty good cornerback in the
How about
NFL.
Derek Brown?
Derek Brown, I think, is still proving pretty good it's probably the only thing that the Carolina Panthers seem to have going good for them right now.
Do you think our baseball team will get a host?
Yeah, I think they're pretty solid for a host at this point, based off of all the people who say that they're in the know, their prognostications. Now, certainly you can't lose the rest of your games and expect things to be a cakewalk for you to be a host regional. But I got to look at their full body of work. And if I'm making a decision, I say, yeah, they're one of the top 16 teams to be a host site.
Right now, they picked them number 1 seed.
Well, I don't know where you're looking at it for that. They're definitely not a number 1 seed in most publications. The highest that I have seen them be is let me back that up. I think I misunderstood your saying. They will be a number 1 seed, a host in their regional. So they will be ranked 1 through 4 in a regional. If they're a host, they will be number 1. But the highest top seed that they've been is number 6 that I've seen in some people's rankings, which is very, very honorable and very admirable that they've reached that point after last year. But 2 very challenging SEC teams to end the year with, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and don't sleep on Jacksonville State in the midweek game. The work is not done. So
I think Jackson Arnold will be our starting quarterback now.
Now? You just now got there?
Yeah, because Hughes Freeze named him the starter already.
I think you're mistaken. I don't think I've seen that anywhere. I don't think Hugh has named any starter and quarterback, and he probably disagreed. You know, Hugh has gone on record a lot and said that the depth chart really to him doesn't mean anything. It's more of a week by week thing. Now that could be coach speak, but Jackson Arnold, Deuce Knight, Ashton Daniels, whoever else wants to be in that quarterback room is going to have a good shot at it.
I think we will get London Duckworth and Travis Burgess.
Oh, those recruits that have not here with Auburn yet?
Yeah, they're coming next weekend.
Well, you know me. I don't really pay attention to people until they commit. I just don't see the point in it. But I'm excited that anybody wants to come give us a look regardless of that.
I can't wait. The football season, I'm going.
Well, you got a long time, so you better settle in. It's going to be a long summer. We got what? Today is May 7th. So that's about 4 months, right? June, July, August, September. 29th. Well, we start August 29th. So, just under 4 months. So it'll be here before you know it, but it'll also stretch on and on and on. And we'll be just begging for it to get here too soon.
Hey, my mother's doing good.
Oh, good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Very good. Very nice.
Home finally.
I'm sorry. I can't hear her. What's she saying?
She says she's home finally.
Well, that is a good thing to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
Friday will be a month that she's been home.
Okay. Well, awesome. Glad to hear that everybody's back together.
I'm sorry about your kitty cat.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We all have our special pets in the world, and she was a very special one to me.
You know that guy, does he still got his dog?
Which one?
When the Auburn, he dressed the dog up. Did he find it? Because he was missing.
I think I know who you're talking about. And unfortunately, I think there's more of an update on that than I can give right now because, let me just reserve. We'll talk about that another day. Let me look into that. I think there's a lot more going on there than you may be aware of.
I think all our wide receivers will catch touchdown passes.
I sure hope so. I sure hope so. All right, I got time for one more question tonight, Mr. Kevin. What you got? Give me a good one here.
Do you think Pettiford will be back?
I don't know. It's, everybody's asking that of me these days. And I think everybody wants somebody to give them hope or just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off for them. But the problem is like the draft combine has not happened yet. He got an invitation so that we can't even answer the question until he gets done with the draft combine, because then it'll start to leak out how well he did or how well he didn't do. Things like that.
He needs to come back Auburn. That's what.
Well, he needs to do what's best for him, but certainly we, the Auburn faithful, would much prefer to have Tahad Pettiford back. I'm right there with you, but I also want him to do what's best for him. And here's the great thing, Kevin. If he doesn't come back, that's a great thing for Auburn too, because it's another guy that has gone through Auburn to get to the NBA, and that's what builds a lot of people's opinions about Auburn, their success, not just what they do in college, but what they're doing for the players to get to the NBA.
I think Cam Coleman will have 28 touchdowns this year.
Well, you've been throwing out a lot of predictions for Cam. We'll see if any of them stick. But I'm sure we'll talk about that much more over the coming weeks.
Tell the other caller I said, hey.
I will definitely do that. Thank you, sir, for calling in tonight.
War Eagle, bye.
War Eagle, bye. Good to hear from Mr. Kevin tonight. Always get to hear from him on Wednesday nights. You guys can be callers, regular callers or not, too. Give it a try. It's here on YouTube. And if you're watching on Facebook or X, Facebook, you might be able to access the link. I think it sends it over there, but it just doesn't put it to the top. I think it stays at the top of the chat. It's not like pinned up there where you can still see it. But if you want to take part in tonight, you can certainly click the link and be on camera or off camera. It is not required, but it is available to you all as you see fit. All right, let's get this thing going. I know we missed a week. It's a little bit of a slow start tonight, but what's on y'all's minds? Let's hear some topics, some questions, some comments, or else I'm going to just yammer on about what I want to discuss this evening. David sent this to us, I think pre-show. You can enter the chat technically when we set the watch page on YouTube, especially, and do a pre-comment here. So our title was The Auburn Mount Rushmore Debate Rages. This has been a big topic over the last couple of weeks. Some other Auburn content creators out there have gotten it going, which I love. I think it's a great thing that the conversation's, being generated again, something that we're obviously very fond of. I'm assuming that David here was talking about a quarterback list, and not necessarily a full-on Auburn list or an Auburn sports list or maybe just an Auburn specific list. I don't know. I'm assuming Marshall is Nick Marshall. I think Nick Marshall deserves a lot more recognition than he gets as a quarterback for Auburn. I think he is very underrated, very underappreciated when it comes to what he meant to Auburn in his 2 years here, how he made the Gus Malzahn offense go the way he did. I don't know that I can put him on a top 4 Mount Rushmore type list of Auburn quarterbacks or Auburn players. Now, if we want to get into, like, you can go as nuanced as you want to with these Mount Rushmore topics. Like, you can go, as somebody today jokingly said on our TikTok live stream, the Mount Rushmore of Auburn heartbreaks. Well, we don't really want to do that one, right? This is supposed to be fun. But you can do that. But if you want to go like most top 4 Mount Rushmore of the most impactful transfers for Auburn football, Nick Marshall's got a real good conversation to be on that list. Taking you to the national championship game is something that only a handful have done for Auburn. You could, if we're going to go on that line of thinking, I think you're going to find names like Keandre Lambert-Smith now with what he did in 1 year at Auburn. And it just begs the question, what might have been if he was going to be here for much longer? So Keandre Lambert-Smith would probably be on that, top transfers, Mount Rushmore list for Auburn and what they accomplished. I'm trying to think offhand here. Rudy Johnson, that'd be a good one to kind of throw back a little bit further. Transferred in from, unless I'm mistaken, I believe he transferred in because he only had like a year with us and he left as a junior because he had such a great year. I will never forget that run he had against Wyoming. Rudy Johnson. So yeah, if you guys have any takes on that, since we went off that rabbit hole down that rabbit hole a little bit, the most impactful transfers for football in its history. Oh, what am I thinking? Cam Newton would easily be on that one. There's not a Mount Rushmore that's relating to football generically. Like, it's not specific to a position other than quarterback, obviously, because he's in that one that Cam's probably not going to fall into, right? I mean, he was that impactful, that good. Same case I was making for Nick Marshall a little while ago. I don't know. I really like the Auburn Mount Rushmore topic because I think it's more nuanced than just simply who is your Auburn Mount Rushmore. Certainly you get to that point. Certainly you can, do just that, but it's a little bit more nuanced than that. That's why we've done one about academic buildings. We've done quarterbacks. We've done basketball guards. One thing that I think we may do this week, just to keep it in the spring thing, is unless Austin and I come up with 2 major topics that we want to cover on the Auburn Experience podcast, other than that, we may use one of the major topics as a Mount Rushmore, another segment. I'm thinking about doing pitchers for Auburn baseball. Now, let me just go ahead and acknowledge if I said it wrong. My former boss and my wife even picked up on it a little bit, I believe, that I say pictures, sorry. See, I can't even get it right when I'm trying to enunciate it out. Pitchers for Auburn, not pictures, pitchers for Auburn baseball. Your Mount Rushmore of Auburn pitchers. And the reason I like doing this topic and dicing it out into smaller ones is because it makes you really dive into some of the lore and not just regurgitate the same things that everybody's saying. Bo Jackson, Cam Newton, Pat Sullivan, and football, Pat Dye, Shug Jordan, Bruce Pearl, all those things. It gets a little bit more nuanced, and it really kind of helps you hone in on what you're saying. If you dice it up into these little sections, it brings people to the forefront more and makes you ask the question, who and or what should truly be on the Mount Rushmore of Auburn. Not just Auburn sports, not just Auburn culture, not just Auburn family stuff, but the Auburn experience. So I've enjoyed seeing a lot of those. I think today is it On3 that's doing I think they're the ones that kind of got this going again. I think they did defensive tackles today or yesterday or something like that. So it's always good to hear other people's perspectives because it jogs your memory. It was like, oh yeah, that person was pretty impactful when it comes to that position, that sport, that concept. But this is the thing, right? You're going to see a ton of those type of, what do you call it? I hate to call them filler content, but stuff to kind of bide time until we get to middle of July, end of July, August, when football talking season arrives, and then there's more of that stuff. What's interesting to me this year, keeping it in the football realm, and maybe it's because I'm just doing more new and more content type of things this year than I have been in the past, is how much and how often by the same people the same question is being asked over and over again, and that is, what is your record prediction for the season? Folks, it is too early. It is too early to be doing that, especially in this day and age. You have got rosters that have still got to be figured out. You've got position battles that have still got to be figured out. You have got, I mean, wasn't it pretty late last year that the Pac-12 fell apart and they had to put together some type of season for Oregon State and Washington State, who were left over, to actually play something? Like, you could have something like that happen. Heaven forbid it happened to the SEC or to Auburn. That would never. They're in control of their own destiny. But I know that this is the time of year that we get into. I feel like we can be a little bit more nuanced in our discussion, a little bit more than the same old regurgitated. What's your season prediction? What's your record prediction? What, all the same things over and over again. But I guess that's just how naive I've been to. That's really what people focus on, and that kind of stuff. Little basketball stuff while you guys think of some things that maybe you want to bring up. Obviously, we have quieted down quite a bit when it comes to the transfer portal. Bruce Pearl, probably 2 weeks ago at this point, was very open and said that he's still looking for one more big man. There's been people, from certain schools that have visited and didn't sign or whatever. Big whoop, that's why I personally don't get invested in people who haven't committed yet, and encourage you not to obsess about it as much. So I do wonder where and who he might go for to find that potential big man, and what type of role they might have going forward. What's going on, Felix? Good to see you. Felix, have we not seen you lately? And is that let me bring that back up. Is that a new avatar on the, I call them avatars, profile pics? Some people call them avatars. Some people call them profile pics. But I love it. The old school. It's a little bit more than just Aubrey Sailor there. What's going on, Devin? Everybody's starting to arrive at the same time. Are y'all all coming from somewhere? Good to see you, Devin. Thanks for being here. Are you in the kitchen this evening? If you are, cook us up something good. Where was I? Yeah, just where Bruce Pearl's going to go with that. One thing that I've been eagerly waiting for not the other shoe to drop, but just the first shoe to drop, is that first announcement of an Auburn basketball schedule news. Because it feels like every other school is dropping their big announcements for their for their schedule. Now, let me remind you of something. Auburn has and the other entities already announced that they're going to be part of the new Players Era tournament, I guess is what it's called, in Las Vegas this holiday season, Thanksgiving time. We've known that. We know about the return trip for us to Indy for Purdue, Houston to us. Arizona was announced during the season. So we know a lot of the big pieces and stuff, but I'm just really curious when we're going to get the next announcement. And a lot of times those schedule announcements come much later. Last year they came pretty early, I felt like. But I am sitting here eagerly. I still have this itch for basketball, even though it has been gone for several weeks now, to just kind of keep some of that going. Devin says, nope, my husband's grilling steak right now. I'm chilling on the couch. Well, we'll take any way we can get you, Devin. Thank you for being here. But we love to know whenever you're in the kitchen. It's a running joke and gag here at E2C Network. Let's see. Felix says, talking about his logo. Yeah, I found it in old Auburn pics. Yeah, I've got a new hat, by the way. You guys need to check out our hats for our hats. Our hat here, but the hats from Barner Supply Co., who's sponsoring this tonight. But and we're going to get an affiliate link set up with them this week too. Because of what we've been through this past week, it's been a little bit behind the schedule of all things. But if you go look online, or actually if you go look at, did I wear it this week on the show? No, I knew I wear it on the TikTok live streams. I've got a brand new, for those of you that have seen me wear like the same hat over and over again, like out and about, other content other than here in studio. It's just, I had that standard blue hat with the orange AU. I've now finally branched out and I'm going to retire, at least publicly, out in the public, that hat. Might put it over here on the shelf and switch it back and forth with you guys between Barner Supply and that. But I've got a new Eagle A hat. Eagle A hat. You know what I'm talking about? With the A and then the eagle sticking with his wings out. Oh, it's so good. I've wanted it for years. It's a trucker style hat, like the Barner Supply Co. hat I'm wearing. Big fan of trucker style hats. It's awesome. Yeah, listen, Felix, if you like these hats, I'll set up an affiliate link that you can go through here, but go visit them now if you'd like to and check out some of their stuff. Just make sure if you buy something without the affiliate link, you let them know that E2C Network sent you. But it's good stuff, and it's a good Auburn man and a good Auburn family-run company that you need to support. I love what they do, what they're currently doing. They've got some new logos and stuff that they're new designs, I should say, that they're starting to put out there right now. But yeah, you got a cool Auburn pick there as well on your particular thing. I want to do a little bit of housekeeping, and you guys just drop in comments or topics you'd like for us to expound upon here as needed. But I'd like to hear from some of you guys tonight. Anybody interested in let me preface this. I've asked this somewhat of our Conquer Club people, which some of you here in the Conquer Club already, and y'all have given me some feedback, and you can still give that same feedback here to, reiterate it. I'm considering doing about a 10-minute, I want to call it daily, mid-week daily podcast of me just talking about the latest things. And it's going to be a lot of news related stuff, but certainly it can just be the big buzz thing that we opened the show with was Auburn Mount Rushmore stuff, and just kind of talking about that. If you all would be interested in something like that, I had been doing test runs of it before all our family drama here got going last week. And I kind of liked the time that I was able to do it. I could get it out around 2:00 so that you can listen to it on your drive home as kind of a catch up of the day. I don't know, something, just throwing it out there. I don't know how. I'd be interested to know too, how many of you are listening to our traditional podcast, that meaning just the audio only, or do you still do that? Or are you more of a video person now, more of a live stream person? I always like to hear perspectives on that, because we try to shift where the interest is going. It's why we have gone so heavy on video here for a lot of the stuff we do is because we've noticed that trend in a lot of different ways, and with reels and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so just if anybody has any perspectives on that, please don't be shy and let us know what you think. I will tell you I'm going to keep referencing the drama because it is, what we had going on this week. Again, I won't go back into it. I talked about at the start of the show what we had going on that kept me a little checked out. But what it did let us do is travel to Auburn on a little bit of a, not great reason, but a surprise, and to try to make lemonade out of lemons this past week and weekend. My wife Jessica and I, we got to go and spend some time on the loveliest village on the plains and do some traditional things, but also got to do some new things, or things that we haven't done in quite some time. Has anybody ever wanted to or already stayed at the Auburn University Hotel, the main one, the one that the recruits go stay at? How do I know? Well, we've seen them stay there before. They've shared video, but there's a channel on there that's Hugh Freeze welcoming you as a recruit and what you're going to be experiencing that weekend. So if you've never stayed there, or if you've not thought about it, if you're not aware of it, you need to be. It is awesome. It is a very nice hotel. I would not venture to say that it is overly schwanky, meaning like I walked in after having to morbidly dig a hole to take care of our family business the other day to bury our cat. Didn't feel too out of place. So, but I think everybody, if you can swing it for a night, it would be something great for you to try doing. Not only are there some pretty good views of certain aspects of campus, Sanford Hall, like I'm sure there's a better view room somewhere that we didn't have, but after what we had been through this past week and stuff, when we walked into our room that evening, on a Thursday, do it on a non-weekend, so it's cheaper. We open up the curtain and all we see is like obviously some trees there because they've got this giant tree in the like atrium area as you pull up. But through the trees was the opening, was just a beautiful, picturesque view of Sanford Hall and the clock tower. Ah, man. If I ever needed that view on on a bad day and night ever again, I mean that was the night to have it. It was absolutely beautiful. I haven't even shared that picture, and I should probably if it came out well. But that was great. When you walk the halls of the Auburn University Hotel, you're going to get the full gamut of the Auburn experience. Of course, they've got pictures of great moments like bow over the top down the hallways. These are just the ones going to your room, but they've got historic moments in Auburn and civil rights history. They've got historic moments of like the Auburn band playing at the Capitol or marching there, other things like that of great academic moments and things like that. The Auburn University Hotel, for my first time staying there just on a whim for one night, we were only there for probably, the checkout was at 12. We probably got there around 8. So what, 16 hours? Oh, it was money well spent on a really bad day. So I'd highly, 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 highly recommend, if you never visit, go check out the lobby and stuff like that and just go see it. They've got a really nice restaurant there. So this is not a promotion for them. This is just when I experience something for the very first time, I want to share it and talk about it with you all so you can kind of know. So if you've not had an opportunity to do that, to experience that, to at least go visit it and familiarize yourself with where it is, what it is, all that kind of stuff. When you're touring around campus, go check out the Auburn University Hotel. It's pretty dang awesome, at least in my view, it is right now. And I'm kind of itching to go back there. Yes, the public can. This is Felix asking, so the public can stay there too. That's awesome. Yeah. I think, and maybe that's kind of one of the barriers for people being aware of it. And you can probably go most places if you're willing to pay. It is not the most expensive stay in Auburn. For the basic rooms and stuff like that, I'm sure some of the rooms are one of the more expensive. But we got a king bed and regular just hotel room, but it was very nice. They have a nice mural type of thing in the room and it looks like a map, like an old black and white map of Auburn back in the day. I thought it was great. Absolutely outstanding. Just loved every second. Not too like vomiting Auburn on you, but just enough to honor that. So yes, anybody can go stay there. We walked up, did not have a reservation. We called ahead to make sure there were some rooms available. So yes, try it on a weeknight. My best advice to you is probably try, on a weeknight. Like I would imagine it gets very expensive in the fall, regardless of weeknight or weekend. But if you can go and stay like there on a Thursday and then enjoy your Friday there before the craziness of either a fall football weekend or like a spring weekend like this, where there was baseball or softball or both going on, something like that, that would be a really great way to start off and kick off your. And there's other great options in town, obviously, if you want to take part in any of those other accommodations that you can stay, like our friends at allthingsauburn.net. They've got some great condo style things as well. All right, I got into a bunch of that, but I wanted to at least talk a little bit about that since it's something that we experience. What is on y'all's minds? I know we've been off for a week, but y'all are very quiet tonight. So let's get some topics, some things that y'all want to discuss from you. We're about a little over halfway through the show. We have talked a little bit about Auburn Mount Rushmore stuff, a little bit about some football-ish topics. I got into my discussion about basketball updates in terms of, are we going anywhere else with the roster? Is the schedule coming out? Things like that. But there are plenty of other things going on in the Auburn experience. One thing that I'll bring up here, and I know baseball isn't everybody's big thing that they get super excited about until the end of the year, but as Kevin, who called in earlier, brought up, Auburn is poised to be a host region. So if you're not aware how it works, if you are one of the top 16 teams, and I felt Devin was going to want me to go here. So we got big series, both weekends coming up here. We've got a lot of that going on. There's a potential for Auburn to not just host a regional, but be a top 8 seed host, which means that if they won that regional, they would then be the host for a super regional. So there's a lot there. We can go into that a little bit more. We got our next caller on the line. Let's say hello to him. What's going on, Felix? You there? Whoa.
Hello?
Hey, Felix, what's going on, man? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. It's been a while, Felix. It may take some getting used to calling in. Sometimes you have to hit the button to make sure that your audio is on, or if you're muted or something like that. But we cannot hear you at this moment. Give it another try, and I'll bring you back on in just a second. So just hang tight there in the waiting room, and we'll do it. So yeah, so what we were talking about, 16 seed, top 16 teams get to host a regional. If you win your regional as a host, if you're a top 8, you are guaranteed to host a super regional, meaning the winner, so if you were the number 1 overall seed, you would host the number 16. Whoever came out of that number 16 seed, they would come to you. 8 would come to 9. So you know how it works, like in a bracket style thing. So right now, a lot of publications have Auburn as a top 8 regional host, or at least hosting a regional as high as 6. So keep in mind what that means is if Auburn is a top 8 host, that if they take care of business and win that regional, then they're going to be back again in Auburn 2 weekends in a row for 2 major weekends. And that, don't think that has it's definitely not happened since I've been covering Auburn in my lifetime, but it may be the first time ever, which would be really cool to see. All right, let's give him another try, see if we can get him on the line. Felix, can you hear us?
Yes, sir, I can hear you now. Can
Good
you
to
hear me?
I got you, man. We got it
Good.
cooking with grease now. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. What you been up to?
Man, just working, trying to keep up with the nice little the team that Hugh Freeze has put together. I'm
Yes.
so psyched for this year. I really am. I mean, we got. I really truly believe Jackson. I don't, maybe it's just false hope, but the way he looks in his previous games and stuff like that. I saw a bunch of film and stuff like that of those games in Oklahoma. But he looks
Yeah.
really sharp, really does. Especially with his legs, he really runs really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have said that this, I'm not going to act like I'm an expert on what Oklahoma did or wasn't trying to do last year, but that he fits better with what Hugh Freeze wants to do. And yeah, it can be a great fit, but it's also got to show up and show out on the field. And obviously, he's still got to win officially the starting job. I think we all recognize that's probably where we're heading right now, but it's not official yet. I am very excited for what he can potentially do. My biggest, thing, Felix, is I don't care who we're talking about at quarterback. We have got to protect them better. I've had, I don't know why on my algorithm lately, I've gotten a lot of Auburn highlights in my, this is on something that I don't really usually do a lot of Auburn stuff on, but a lot of ones from last year. And I was watching the Kentucky game, especially, which was a game we ended up winning because of Jarquez Hunter and having an outstanding day. But just
I mean, a real good game.
an outstanding game, but how often Peyton Thorne was on his back instantly because people, crap on the dude, and I don't know where you stand on him and all that. I'm not acting like he was the world's greatest quarterback, but he literally was running for his life, as was TJ Finley, as was Robbie Ashford, as was Bo Nix. Jarrett Stidham, I think, is probably the last quarterback that Auburn had that probably was able to stand up for a long amount of time. So
No,
it is incumbent upon this offensive line this year, whoever it is, Jackson Arnold or anybody, please protect the quarterback. That's just my plea.
no, I'm with you. I am definitely with you. Because I mean, you're right, man. We haven't had a really good offensive line in quite some time, and we really had nothing but tackles because of well, it goes back to Gus. I mean, he took a bunch of tackles, from what I understand, and just made them wherever he could fit them. But again, what my thing is. I'll go back to Harson. He put us back in the Stone Age there, man. I mean, I hate to say that, Kyle, I really do. But Jesus, man. I mean, the way he recruited, well, didn't recruit or didn't go to any recruitment, really. I mean, it was just it's sad, man. He really just put us in heart. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say this, but look what California's going through right now. You know,
Well,
I mean,
I don't jump on that bandwagon that much. That's just a lot of drama out there that people are trying to pile on Harson, and it doesn't look good on the outside looking in. But what I will agree with you
no,
is Harson did not do his job here. It was not good. It was not a good fit. We kind of all felt that from the beginning, and it played out that way, right?
yes, sir, yes, sir.
I'm also going to go back to that's not the reason we got to that point is because we made a decision before that brought us to that point. It's never
Yeah,
we always focus on the symptom. We never talk about the disease.
right.
So, you know, the great thing is that is getting further and further into our past. And I like that you said that you've got a lot of optimism about, Hugh Freeze and what he's putting together. I think if you look at who he's getting onto the field early and how they're producing as young players, that's a really good sign for the future for Auburn.
Right. Well, how about this? I really want to ask you about everybody's talking about the first game in Baylor. Do you
Yeah.
really think that's going to be like a I guess a start? If it's going to start us off on a bad note, if we do lose, I mean, but I don't. Me personally, I really just don't think we're going to lose. And if it is close, it's going to be like maybe a touchdown or field goal. But I mean, like I said, I just don't think. I don't think we're gonna lose. I just feel in my heart, man. I just really don't think we're gonna lose. But then again, hey, they are a pretty good team, sir. They really are.
Yeah, I'm actually not up as on much as where they kind of stand currently, other than just outside looking in. I've got two brothers that are they went to grad school there and feel like they're pretty well connected with how things are going. They're not very optimistic about Baylor right now, so I think maybe that sheds a little light on maybe that narrative that they may be good. maybe not so much. I think it's interesting. There's not a lot of hype around that game, Auburn, or for Auburn and Baylor, and I think part of the reason why they moved it to Friday. But
Yes.
I think that whoever comes out of that game may end up surprising some people in their respective conferences that year. This could be a sneaky game that's like, no matter if you win or lose, both teams are going to test each other really well and then, prepare them for conference play. This idea, I saw that floating around for a while too, that Auburn
Yeah.
is going just because Auburn might lose to Baylor, that somehow means hit the panic button. Well, that's your
Yeah.
typical
Yeah.
fan. That's your
Exactly. That's
typical
that's what
fan.
I was getting to. Yeah. That's what I was telling you.
That's
Yeah.
just silly. Like, I mean, if we're already to that point, why are you even why are you even looking forward to the season? It's called
Yeah.
you go out there and play the game. If you're going to write everything off because you lost one game away. Now, listen, you don't want to lose to teams that you're supposed to beat at home. We all saw that happen a couple of years ago. So those are very frustrating and hard to really understand. But away, you give a little bit of, I feel like, understanding. But I'm in no way preparing for Auburn to lose that game. I'm in no way preparing for Auburn to win. There's still so much that's got to play out on both teams roster wise until we get to that point. But every day is a little bit closer, and everything gets a little bit more clear of a picture as we get closer to that time.
Well. One more question, man. I know
Sure.
you probably got tired of anything,
Are you
but
fine?
actually two. Why
Good.
one? Why did they change it to Friday?
It's a good question. I still haven't found a definitive reason. Now, maybe someone's reported on that or something. The only thing that was said about the situation, I think it was a statement either from the athletic director or from Hugh Freeze that said this was a mutually beneficial decision for all parties. I can't really think how it's beneficial necessarily for Baylor, since it's going to be a weekday, and that means that I'm assuming all their students will still be in class. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they love Friday night games there. To me, I think it's more about what was going to get more eyes on the game than anything.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you're gonna be the only thing smoking on that day. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing else on but that game. I believe I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that that's the only college game.
Yeah, I think there's probably other good ones being played, but I can't think of them right now. So I got to think Auburn and Baylor right now, seeing where both the programs are at, that's probably the decision. Other than that, I don't know.
All right. Now there's another question. How about the Oklahoma game? How do you sit on that? How do you? I mean, yeah. I mean, I know. But I just don't. I don't. I mean, everybody's jumping on the bandwagon with material doing this. I mean, I haven't. I really. We don't watch. Washington or Kansas City or Kansas or any of that. We don't. I really don't watch the Big Ten or whatever that is. But
whatever it is these days.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can't keep up with it. I mean, they're literally something else. Back two tomorrow, back four tomorrow, whatever. But anyway.
Right.
I mean, how do you sit with that game?
Right now, I'm just excited for the matchup, and I know that's the easy answer, and I'm not trying to make it a cop-out answer because Devin actually reported, and she's I say claiming it makes it sound like that she's not, what she's saying is not true, but I haven't seen it for myself, so I cannot officially confirm. But sorry, this was a different comment. She said Hugh Freeze confirmed on a drop this morning. He confirmed Jackson will be the starter, so I'll go listen to that.
Oh yeah, I did actually see that on another
I will go make sure that I go find where that is. And Devin, actually, if you want to send me that in the Conquer Club, that'll be helpful. So I can make sure I can definitively say that and be speaking from facts and not just from speculation.
Sure.
But anyway, so obviously, if what we all thought, Jackson Arnold was going to be the starter, and is still that going into Oklahoma. Nothing's guaranteed these days. That's a lot of hype built around it. Listen. Everybody gets hyped about somebody and says they're going to be the next great thing, talking about John Mateer. Certainly there were Auburn people that wanted him to be here, and that he may end up being the next greatest thing ever. But it's all just speculation right now. So to take any overarching statements, any overarching predictions about that game, which is 5 games into the season, because you got Baylor, the two rinky-dink games, South Alabama and Ball State, then South Alabama. Then you got Texas A&M and then Oklahoma, right? I think that's the way it goes. So you got so much that's going to transpire before then that I ain't worried about John Mateer right now. I'm worried about what we look like after those first few games, and then we can make some big things. I'll tell you this much, though. I'm so disappointed that I can't really make definitive plans to head out there to Norman, Oklahoma for Auburn's first game in Oklahoma, because that's a cool thing that you would get to do,
I
right?
mean, I've heard so many stories about, Oklahoma, which is like, like you just said, Auburn's never, been out that way, or, I
Right. It's
mean,
just cool.
yeah, it's just something to see. That's gotta be something to see. Um, I mean, I can't miss it. Well, I mean, thank you for your time, man, and
Yeah, man.
everything, and I'm good talking to you again.
Yeah, please call in some whenever you want to. Wednesday nights are always open for people just like you in the Auburn family. So don't be a stranger.
Thank you, Kyle. See you later, man.
All right. See you, man. All right, that was Felix. Good to hear from him. Phone lines are still open. We're about 10 minutes away from when we normally end. If we're in the middle of a good conversation, we can hold up a little bit here. But some comments were brought up that I'll kind of address here too. I think I already addressed one of them. So Devin is saying and reporting, makes you sound official, Devin. Hugh Freeze did an interview that dropped this morning, and he confirmed Jackson will be the starter. So I will make sure that I go read that. Obviously, forgive me for not being on top of that. I am slowly getting back into being a little bit more on the nose of things after our very difficult week and a half. But it doesn't shock me if that's true. I think we all knew this is the way it seemed to be heading. It's very interesting that he would officially name someone right now, but keep in mind, as Hugh has operated throughout his time here at Auburn, that depth charts don't mean a dang thing, and you got to earn it every week. And that's coach speak, but he seems to really mean it when he says that out there. All right, Unbeaten Lake says Stidham had a good O-line midseason throughout until the SEC Championship Bowl game, but the constant fear of the O-line collapsing was constant for Stidham. Yeah, it's so far away now that it's hard to remember exactly what he did or didn't have, but that's the last time that I remember, or that I feel like I remember, not fearing for our quarterback's life. And it seemed like the offense was turning a little bit better at that point. We know that Bo was running for his life. It's the reason he had a major injury. We know that Robbie and TJ and Peyton have been running for their lives for the better part of their times here. Now, most of you that have been here for a while know that is my biggest sticking point, and it's probably the most critical that I am of any positions of the offensive line, because it's very simple. If you can't block and you can't tackle, including defensive line in the game of inches, it's a game of inches, then you will lose the football game. So I do think at times last year, the offensive line showed some signs that we were heading in the right direction. I do think at times there were some bright spots in terms of the pass protection at times. At times then it would just fall apart. But that little moment of consistency fell off again towards the end. So it was very frustrating to see that happen down the line. You could pick my brain for hours, Felix. No, don't do that. That'll get to some scary stuff. You don't want that. But thank you for the kind words. People you've been around here a long time. People have been around here long enough. No, don't let Kyle, don't pick his brain too much. Then it's going to get pretty bad at a certain point. Devin says there's so much more to that situation than just Harsin. I think I'm not sure exactly what this was referring to, because this was a little bit earlier in our conversation with Felix. But I think if you're being a reasonable person, you can say that it's much bigger than Harsin was just a bad coach. It's a much bigger issue things that both things can be true. You can be the wrong coach for Auburn, but there can be other issues that prevent you from even having a leg up to be the right coach at Auburn. And I very much believe those two things are true at the same time for the Harsin era. But, listen, I don't spend much time thinking about him these days. It fascinates me with the amount of obsession of hate there is on the man. A lot of it's politically driven. It's kind of, folks, you need to get a better, for those of you that are just obsessed with hating on the man, you need to grow up and you need to get a life. It's kind of gross at this point. You had your fun when he left. You got what you wanted. He's gone. Let the guy go. I mean, it's part of our history, yes, but at the same time, it's done. Let it be done. Let it dust be done. All that. All right, let's see here. You were referring to the Cal situation. There's something not related. I'll get back to that comment from Devin. To be honest, I don't think Harsin cared about recruiting, but after the allegations, I don't think Harsin wanted to be at Auburn at all. Yeah, I mean, you can understand that. You still got to do your job, right? But who knows? It's in our past. Not a good part of our past, but everybody's got a little bit of those. And we found our rock bottom, at least in the modern era. Devin says, I will say it was with another Auburn channel. It wasn't an official ESPN report or anything, so do that with what you will. It's a great interview, though. Yeah, definitely. If you can, Devin, just send me either link or whatever post that was reported on. I'd like to hear it straight from Hugh's mouth more than anything. I mean, I guess if they're quoting him, that's fine. But just knowing what I think I know about Hugh, I find it a little odd that he would name the starter unless he is just that convinced this is how it's going to be, which is a great place to be in. So I'll take it if he's made his decision already. Felix says, I'm so ready to see our wide receiver room, you and 1,000 other people. It's definitely nice to have the narrative be everybody's ready to see the wide receiver room at Auburn. Okay, we've got a few minutes left here, so let's get some rapid fire comments, questions, topics, things that we haven't hit yet, especially drop them in right now. Let's hit them really fast here towards the end of the show, whether it's Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff, current events or not, drop it in right now. Let me give you some reminders of what we've got coming up here at E2C Network for you in the future. And as always, as I'm getting back into the groove of things, realizing I did not have the moniker or the thing that I needed set up. It's been 2 weeks, y'all. I got it. It'll be here in just a second. Anyway, so the next thing that we have scheduled for you as far as content here on the main stuff, Auburn Experience Live podcast is going to be this Sunday, episode 124. If you haven't listened or watched episode 123, you need to. Some good stuff in there. But we'll be back 9 Eastern time live for you to watch it. The sausage being made live. You can watch the replay, catch the audio only format of that as well. That's all options, but we'd love to see you in the live chat. We have a Q&A after it as well. That's going to be the schedule for the time being. Wednesday and Sunday nights, we will have probably a random live stream here or there, probably when I'm not, maybe in Auburn for baseball, or maybe when I'm even there. We might do some post-game tournament stuff for baseball. Looks like that's high likelihood at this point. But we got plenty of content that we're going to be putting out across more of the channels as I kind of gear back into life and kind of picking up the pieces from. I know I've referenced this a lot, but just for those that may have missed it, and I'm going to indulge myself here. We did lose our cat last week, pretty unexpectedly, and her name was Lucy, but she was known as Podcat, and she was a staple here at E2C Network when I first started doing things. Appeared in the background, you'd hear her sometimes, or when I was doing grainy video on Facebook, she'd appear there. So we miss her very much, but obviously life must go on, and that's what she would want for us. But that's what's kind of been going on here behind the scenes. All right, final questions, comments, topics, derogatory rebuttals that are productive. Get them in now. When I say derogatory rebuttals on TikTok, that's what I get. Is I get what I asked for. But you guys, for the most part, are a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for, or phrase, able to give us productive things. Felix wants to know the all-powerful question. Kevin started us off with that. Do you think Tahad Pettiford will be back from the NBA draft? I know that's what all of y'all are wondering about. I know, but we're going to have to just the anticipation for that's going to have to cool off just a little bit. He hasn't even done the NBA combine yet, draft combine. Why am I not talking well tonight? The NBA draft combine. So this, do you think stuff, you can't even definitively answer that or even give a answer that has some semblance of that until we see maybe what comes out of his draft combine performances. I think he's got some G League, Summer League games he can play in too. So all of that's got to transpire. There's a basketball commentator that I really like his perspectives on things on TikTok, and he talked about it the other day, and he said it's a true 50-50 situation. And I would probably agree with that at this point. I see you, Felix. You just got to have patience. You just got to let this thing play out. Anybody that's telling you one way or the other at this point, unless they have a direct line to Tahad or someone on staff, or and really not even, I think Tahad is the only one you can trust there, or someone close to him, doesn't know what they're talking about, because I think it's probably a 50-50 for him as well. But it's a good thing for Auburn. Argue how good either way, whether he stays or whether he goes, you either have him back or you have that narrative continue to be built that Auburn is putting people in the NBA, which is a great thing. All right, folks, thanks for hanging out on Wednesday night. A little bit of a slow night, but those are sometimes the best nights to dive into some things in detail. Hope that you'll be back. Hope that you'll hang out some more with us on Wednesdays and Sunday nights at 9 Eastern time. Won't be missing very many of them outside of life happening again, but we appreciate you guys being here, hanging out with us, and spending some time being a part of our little family within the Auburn family. Until we get to talk to you again, War Eagle.